might get a commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, the FSB Broadcast Network presents Winston Cup 88 Friday night. This is the penultimate series here for broadcasting. And this is Mel Minter Jr. along with your host, the voice of FSB, Greg Bernardo. What's up, Greg?
What's up, Milty? What's up? Homestead in the lovely South Florida area, Milty. And this is a great night track that they're running at. And we got a great field, Milty, 27 cars strong.
We got the who's who of FSB,
Yes.
which is just about everybody.
Yes, and
Anybody here can win.
yeah, and there's certainly one of them right there, Milty. That's the 52 car, who you of course know very well, and that's five-time Rick Johnson.
Five-time Pro Cup champion, I think three-time sportsman, which is now the FSB Cup series. Anything he puts his mind to, he's got a good chance. Big-time racer, as far as
and a welcome
racing
back,
the track.
Milty. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a welcome back to that familiar Wrangler 88 car, and we know who's behind the wheel, Milty, and that's Joe Cutt.
Yeah, Joe Cutt, and of course, instantly they were messing with him in the drivers' meeting, and
That's just
so
the
it was
love,
good
Milty.
fun.
That's a lot of love right there, and he knows it. And there's, of course, the the one with the bullseye maybe on the car, Milty, the 28 car, the silver and black, almost like a Oakland Raider aura about him, isn't there, Milty?
Well,
Almost
he's like a Ken Stabler
yeah,
slinger,
like
man.
Fred Biletnikoff, or a throwback to the 70s Raiders, Milty. That's that 28 car. It looks mean, and we know what he's capable of doing, and so does everyone else driving. And that should be another storyline we'll be following. And how about the 99 car, Milty? That's Pops Marguson, who we all know and love. P3 on qualifying, Milty. What's that tell you about old Pops?
Well, Pops is always a great qualifier at these races. The thing is how the first few laps, and he's always got a real loose setup, and he's very fast in qualifying. We want to see him survive without damage the first pit stop run, and then he could be a factor.
Absolutely, and going from Pops to youth, Milty, that 34 Mountain Dew car kind of does remind me of a brash young DW, Milty, with the talent and the skill.
Absolutely, and he's
just like I told these boys in the meeting, we don't need anything over the top today. We got a good race car, we got a good driver, we got a good pit crew. All we got to do is just everybody carry the weight. We'll be just fine at the end of the race. 10-4.
Always competing for championships.
See you, bud.
This is a pro sim racing league. All the names down here have won races or competed for top fives.
Oh, absolutely. And looking at our field here, Milty, like I said, 27 strong, pole position, familiar sight. Jeff Hale in that Trans Am car, looking good, and right beside him, outside pole, another welcome back to a great FSB driver who everyone who knows him loves him, and that's Slim Jim, Milty. And the 25 car, we need to get him some paint, but once we do, we know who's behind the wheel of that 25 car, Milty.
Well, he's old school, Coke, the real thing. He'd probably be okay with that, Not really concerned about the paint.
No.
And guess what? 4 weeks in an FSB truck, running once a week, and of course last week he ran. 2 weeks ago, we were racing the 24 last week, so I don't know what happened. Still haven't watched all that broadcast, but the week before he got wrecked. Got in a wreck at Daytona, but his FSB truck deal has been top 5 top 4, top 3, and last week or this week he gets a win.
Yeah, Milty, and as you see, as they come around, we're doing 107 laps here at Homestead, Milty, and this is a pretty fast track, Milty. It's kind of a foot down, and keep it down. Draft is going to play a very large part. You can run in and out. You can run both lines. As tires start wearing, though, that's what's going to separate uh, the field. I feel is the tire wear. If you're hard on the tires early on, you're going to find yourself having to lift a little. And if you were, I think, a little more gentle, I think you're going to see you can keep your foot down for longer, and that's going to play a big role here, I think.
All the drivers are raving on the improvement to the setup from last year. Ken Hansen and a bunch of guys did testing, and I believe this is one of those tracks where they, we're constantly working and listening to the drivers.
Yeah, I think so. And away we go. Jeff Hale going to lead the big field into turn 1. Slim Jim on the outside, 59. Ryan Johnson right there trying to take that third position from Pops early on as they get onto the back straight. Everyone strings out. Looks like a nice clean start for the field. And there's that 28 car already, Ed Kerstetter on the outside. And he's looking to move up really quickly here.
We have a new driver, first race on a broadcast event, Khalil Gillen, and we'll have to see how he does.
Yeah, well,
double zero.
When we come across him, we'll certainly give him a shout out there. 00 car, Milty, so kind of, we'll call him a cousin of yours with the 0 car and the 00.
Everybody's single file streaming. Big gap between Nate Finley and Matt Watkins. The great Matt Watkins, the GOAT, is kind of laying back. They're expecting long runs. 34 laps you can do. You might have to clutch to do it. 32 is probably more like it.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe even slightly less if you're really heavy on the gas here. And we see the 28 car taking a look on the outside. Slim Jim covering that nicely. Ryan Johnson 4th. 62 car, Sean Reap jumping up into the 5th position, Milty. And then the 21 car right behind him. And that's, I believe, Jerry Walters there in the 21 car, Milty.
Sam Young makes the pass on Pinky. And that would be for P20. Slowly moving up. These are long races. This is a little shorter than probably some of our races, but
yeah, only 107 laps, Milty, and with the lap times here and Green Flag Racing, we may see a very fast race. And you can see these guys are lined up, and I think they understand that it's a fuel run right now. And green flag stops, and we know what happens with green flag stops, Milty.
Yeah, execute. That's what they got to do in this pro sim racing league.
And maybe before we get too much further on talking about that, Milty, this pit road is extremely unique to most tracks where we have what they call access roads in and out of the track. So these guys will enter pit road in turn 3 and kind of exit pit lane, entering kind of the middle of the back straight, kind of.
Well, there you have it there. You got the former Slim Sim Gately teammates, 1 and 2. No stinking surprise to me. Those Southern boys know how to roll, and Kerstetter realizes that. He's gonna analyze these guys. These guys really haven't went mano a mano before. Kerstetter is kind of a Matt Watkins, Damian, Kevin Lewis type hybrid. I mean, he's a gunslinger. He'll make drastic moves, not as far as strategy and stuff. and he'll take chances. These two in front are more likely going to. They've got a plan already. They know each other. They're
No, absolutely,
teammates,
Melty.
and like peas in a pod.
Yeah, I think if I think Slim is going to stay right where he is this entire fuel run. I wouldn't expect him to go anywhere else unless something were to happen to Jeff, of course. And I really think Ed's going to need
Oh boy, here
some
comes Ryan
assistance.
Johnson. He says, "I'm going to break up this party." Can't make the pass.
Yeah, I think Ryan is the wild card here because Ed. I don't think Ed's going to have much luck with Slim and Jeff at the front, Milty. It's going to be really going to have to force his hand, which I don't think he really needs to do this early in the race.
Well, Sean Reap finished second. He's got top fives a couple times this week, and right again.
Yeah, and Ryan pushed
He's one of
him
the
up a
most
little there.
improved drivers I think that I've seen here. He's really starting to assert himself in the top five.
He is, and he really the only thing that's stopped him from wins and top podiums and top fives, Milty, so far this season has been equipment failures, which, as we know in this game, are almost entirely random. Which you can have the best car or the worst car, and the exact same thing could happen to you. So
that's the Alacrity Pontiac, number 62, and that's like many guys here tied in with racing. That has to do with their story in the forum, you know, talking about family and stuff in racing, you know, and these guys are all, like all of us, have come here through that passion.
Yeah, we see the field coming toward us there, and there's a good look at the 62 car, and there's a car down on the apron there. That was a dicey move there, and that was the 86 car. That's who I thought it was, Milty. The 86 car. Mark Dillon hit that apron, Milty, and that's a danger zone with this track. It's fast, and you can keep your foot down, but if you clip that apron, Milty, it can send you for a ride all the way up to the wall.
I started watching the broadcast from last Friday because, you know, you and me were in the 24 Hours of Daytona, and then it was like 12 o'clock here, and I was done. So, but still, I caught the beginning of it. Great production again by Mark Dillon Jr. Got to watch the whole thing, but appreciate him picking that up at the last second.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the guys, you know.
Absolutely, and speaking of that, there's the 54 car, Milty. Certainly another race contender.
Yeah, Yarborough won last night, and and he had some serious competition there, and just drove it to victory. And he's on a roll. Racing's kind of like a roll, you know. You have good runs and bad runs, weeks by week.
Absolutely, and then we got defending champion 83 of Steve Weber right behind him, and there's the 34 car we talked about earlier, Isaac Johnson, and then right behind him, Milty, that's another Johnson, no relation. That's Rick Johnson, and Rick looking good, and looks like Rick is thinking about moving up in the later half of this first run here.
Well, he knows how this track rolls and the tire wear. And you saw him take it easy at first, and it's the key.
They're going too
and
wide
that's what
here.
the great ones do, is they wait until the fall off from the leaders that are pushing harder starts to take place, and then they pounce.
And Isaac there on the outside really driving the car in hard, Milty, and it's sticking for him, and he's still side by side. But there's some racing going on right ahead of him as well.
Well, and it's so hard, in my experience with the way I drive, generally the first run I do well on tire saving. It's that second and third runs, and a lot of times I kill myself in the second run, especially because you have to be disciplined. Even if you get a green flag stop and you fall behind, you still got to stay the course to your end. But the tendency is to start to push because you're losing ground, and then you give up everything you had gained tire wear wise.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think these guys are have to be mindful of that in kind of in this latter half of this lead pack, Milty, because driving hard now could really hurt them as we're on lap 18, only really just past halfway of the run. So now we're going to start seeing the guys who ran hard might not have what it takes now. We might see some fallback, and we might see some tire savings guys moving to the front, Milty.
Well, and you got Martino and G. Reese just falling off a little bit, but still in the draft. They really desperately want to stay onto that, and
Yeah,
then
and
you
Mike
got that
Sanders
next
as
pack
well with
behind
them.
them, and with Mike Sanders and
Well,
but then Saska is starting to fall behind a little bit, and they're on the verge of losing that draft.
Right, and then we have this very backpack, Milty, which if we can see led by Sam Young, who's in 19th place though. But look at the quality of the drivers back here, Milty. So what do you think these guys are thinking, knowing that they're 15 or so seconds, 6-7 seconds, and falling back maybe half second a lap?
Cannot simulate the race in practice, and the great ones pull that out of their yin yang when the race develops, and you lose just a little bit of pace at some point and lose the draft. But especially in this mod with this type of physics on a cookie cutter, and all of a sudden you're chasing your tail,
Yeah,
and you don't know why,
And there's
but it's just a little bit.
The 15 of Matt Watkins, along with the 6 of Mark DeSenza, Sam. Jim Scharf is in this backpack, we'll call it, Milty. But they're all trying to stay in line, so they're trying to do the right thing. Maybe they're trying to do that extra fuel savings that you mentioned early on, and maybe try to get that extra 2 laps out of it. And there we see the 88 of Joe Cut as well.
No, there's some waves. Okay. DG makes the pass on the 18. Just as we talked, the tires went off on the 18 big time. He realized it. But just in that segment, now that group of cars really needs to get going and get in line. As when you look at the gap between PG and the cars in front, you're looking at a 1.6 versus 2.4, so they're still in the draft here. And
yeah, they're hanging in, but like you said, that's where you start maybe throwing your strategy out the window, trying to play catch up. Right now, you got to stay the course, Milty, and try to maximize this first run.
That's what makes it so hard with such equal competition is those little things, and you can practice them. You can run qualifying laps. You can run simulated laps. You can run against AI cars. You can spend a lot of time at it, but when these races start, there's no way to simulate it except race experience.
Yeah, I absolutely, Milty, and we can see the top 3 here just staying in line. I think Ed has resigned his fate, Milty, to I'll stay right here for this first run and maybe try to get him on pit lane. Slim Jim and Jeff at the front, they're just nose to tail, Milty. Just classic team driving. And there's the 59 in 4th place, Ryan Johnson. Again, I think these leaders have decided that this first run is more important to stay nice and clean and work on their strategy for later in the race.
Here comes Kerstetter down low.
And we're watching ahead of those leaders there. I would be surprised if Ed would make a move here, but you never know. Like you said, he sometimes likes to take a gamble.
Mr. Slim Jim, my name's Ed Kerstetter. I'd just like to meet you.
Well, maybe that's a little, Ed's heard probably a lot about the great Slim Jim Gailey, Milty, and maybe he wants a little piece of him.
There he goes again, looking down low. Ed's very cognizant. And this time
looks like Slim Jim might let him go here. He got the position on him.
Got the door on him.
but Jeff is going to help him there with the drag down the straightaway.
Absolutely. You know, Jeff knows the inside line is the way to go, so he's got to bail on Slim. But look
See,
at the
they're
run
still
he
side
gets.
by side.
Slim on the outside. Now they got a lap car here. They got to get in line. Slim's like, I need to get back in there. Kerstetter will probably see they get by. So very smart.
And
they postponed that battle, and now they're back at it again here. This is a show here.
yeah,
it's
and
an
it does.
opportunity for the guys behind too. And Slim's out in the weeds out there.
But he's kept his foot in it, Milty, and now finally Ed gets that position, and that was a tough battle for Ed.
Draft, but then he gets right back in line. That's Slim. You know, I've learned so much about racing.
Remember,
from that dude right there.
Yeah, and I think that's a classic practicing what he preaches, Milty, where he says, I got to race this track now, and not Ed. It's, you know, lap 22.
You also seen him run that outside line, which Danny Falcon used to run that outside line so great, and get that run coming out. If you'd have had a draft buddy there, he could have probably took those guys. I mean, it is possible if you do it right. And honestly, I'm a bottom feeder at this track. I really can't master that outside line to pass.
And we have Slim Jim diving down into pit lane.
Whoa! He's pitting.
Wow, and that was
at lap 30. Obviously, he doesn't think he can make it to 34 already. So let's get some fresh tires and make track position.
But I mean, he is by himself though, Milty, and this is a draft dependent track.
They're all going to pit now. Okay, 21:07. That's a good daring move.
Wow, Slim Jim dove down to that access road, Milty.
He's here to win the race, not the championship.
Yeah. We think so, and that was a really bold move by Slim Jim, and he's down.
He was
perfect pit stop.
In there.
And he's down, and he's getting his service.
Too. He would tell you he's not, but he's full of it because he is. And now we got Kerstetter. Is Kerstetter going to try to
We have
make
Jeff Hale on pit lane now, Milty.
They're pitting.
We have Jeff.
80's pitting 6, 28, 99.
Yeah, and currently on pit lane, 29 cars on pit lane, 21 and 52 of Rick Johnson.
Ryan Johnson stays out. If you can make it to 34, that gives you a somewhat of an advantage if it stays green. If not, you get shuffled back. But
yeah, we'll stay with the leaders here as pit stops are going on. Green flag stops. First round, and now here comes the whole bunch of them.
33 is pretty close. That's good enough.
Yep, lap 33.
34 is the only way you get really 34 is if you clutch, and at this speed, and that's more of a pro cup
and
thing.
There's someone banged off the wall there. I don't know how much.
62 gets in front.
And it looked like the 86 of Mark Dillon Jr. Milty slid up just a little high and caught the outside pit wall there.
Balderdash.
Hopefully no serious damage. Hard to tell. There's the 9 of Ken Hansen gingerly getting. And right. Oh my.
Around.
Yes, he is.
Can he get back to his stall here?
He's got to maintain composure here, Milty. It's very difficult here to do this.
Good job. Come on, son. Get back in there. That was an excellent move, keeping your head. This was actually a track where
wow, that's a terrible
Rick Johnson
break.
Spun me around one time, and he's still trying to get in his stall, and he does
Wow.
without getting DQ'd.
That's a terrible break, though, for our leader coming into pit lane, Milty.
Let's take a look at that and see what got him there.
Yeah, as we follow live action, no caution there with the spin on pit lane, though. And that's unfortunate for Ryan. He's going to really take a hit on track position. May even probably go a lap down now, Milty, which would be really unfortunate for him.
Okay, I'm taking a look at it right now. They got cars that pitted earlier that have come out. and he gets hit by Michael Sanders, looks like, coming out. He had to cut in front to get to his stall, and Michael didn't realize that he was just pitting. Michael had already pitted, a lap or a
Yeah,
half a lap
that's
earlier. So just a bad deal. Obviously, nothing Michael would want to, do on purpose. It just bad.
well.
Good damage control there. You know, let's get going. Hopefully, he doesn't go a lap down, but he probably will.
Yeah, I think he will, Milty. And the story now, though, is the 25 car, Slim Jim Gailey, is our new leader on lap 36, and he has got quite a sizable lead over, let's say, uh, everyone but Ed now, Milty. And this is what those green flag stops did. Slim Jim really surprising the field and pitting one lap early. It seems
No, he's not surprising
pay,
me.
seems to have paid off for him right now. Of course, he's got now things to think about as the race continues green, though, Milty. He's going to have to get 34 laps now.
He's a guns. He's not quite as big a gunslinger as Kerstetter.
He's got some lap traffic
But
working
he
as well
does
right
know
now.
all his options. Look, he's been away from sim racing for 4 years. He hasn't touched the computer or even got close to it in 4 years. He come back and
Yeah, he's already been in victory lane, Milty. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. And I think the 28 car's realizing that right now as he's following them, saying, "Wow, I'm usually the only one out here by myself, and now there's a car actually ahead of me."
if you're a fan of watching this, man, this is neat stuff right here, man. These guys are unbelievable, and you got Pinky, but I think Pinky's a lap down there, and but the 62 Sean Reap
Hey,
is
Mill,
in third. Yes, sir.
can I get the bad luck award for tonight? I
We
think I
have Sam
deserve it.
Young in the booth, and we never even paid attention to you. There's so much others. What
Oh,
happened to you,
dude,
bro?
believe me, we really don't want to, but I can bring up the most embarrassing story of the evening for you guys. So I get the Doe Award for tonight.
Well,
Okay.
absolutely. Let's hear it.
Okay, I'm doing good, running fine, feeling good. They tell me to come on in the pits. I figure I'll wait around for that Matt Watkins to go in too. Well, we all head into the pits, and we're kind of running out of gas as we're getting there. And I stall out at the line, it runs out, and I coast up to my pit stall, and I stop about 3 inches too short of my pit stall. It shuts down. I can't move. It won't let me call a tow truck, and the guys will not service my car. So I sat for about 4 laps praying somebody would just give me a good nerve. I even typed it out once, but no, I couldn't get moving up to the guys. So those guys, I got a lazy pick here, Milton, Greg. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have to talk to Stetson this week. And there's going to be some firing going on. They would not service the car.
The horror of sim racing and the difference between failure and success. Once again, we get it firsthand here, dude. Yep.
Tough
One
breakdown.
thing about iRacing, it does. But in this game, in this league, you got to perform pit stops immaculately, and
Yes, you do.
3 inches short is usually like that. That's the story of my life,
Well, enjoy the broadcast, guys. I'm going to be listening to it on the side, but
Right on,
I just
man.
I
Tough
thought
luck, teammate.
I thought you should know who gets the absolute Doe Award for tonight.
Well, inches and seconds, man. That's
Yeah, I
racing.
hear ya.
Man.
All right, guys. See you later.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Sammy.
Thanks for that. Thanks, Sam. Well, there you hear it, folks.
Yeah, man,
That's how fast they go.
that's why, pushing it that one extra lap, Milty, and running out of gas in this game is really detrimental to your chances. And
Well,
unfortunately
you
for
have to
Sammy,
make brass decisions. I mean, everybody's out here to win. So, you gotta, and it depends on where you're at. Obviously Sam was back there 19th and was making places, but he was still like in the top 15. So, and they were in the draft, so they, hypothetically they should have been saving fuel. But it doesn't always work that way. And okay, I mean, like I've raced against guys and raced for guys that had complete notebooks, like Brian Wagner used to have. Every single track had a notebook of how many pounds of gas pressure, of fuel pressure, you could have before you had to pit the next lap, like 3 pounds. And this track is right around, just from memory, is right around, 3 to 4 pounds. A little bit shorter cookie cutter. So if you cross that line right at 4 pounds, you could probably spit and gaggle into your stall. But that thing clicks 3 pounds as you cross the line. The light comes on. I mean, it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, and right now, what we're watching here is our
We
third,
got Ryan.
fourth,
Is Ryan one lap
fifth,
down? I'm
and
sorry.
sixth place cars, and they're trying to chase down our top two. And Ryan, I believe, Milty
Is he
is
one lap
just
down?
ahead of Slim Jim. No, he
No,
hasn't
Slim
gone.
knows that.
And yeah, of course, Slim knows that he's a lap. He's in.
Gonna
And
want to get his lap back.
so if Ryan is not impeding Slim's progress and Ed is not pressuring him, I think these three can run in harmony right now. They got a nice lead.
Yeah. They're pro sim racers. They know we got 3 seconds on everybody else. Now you. Hello, Mr. Slim Jim Gately. My name's Ed Kerstetter. I'm your new best friend. And they're going to work together. Your ultimate goal is to get yourself in the position to win. And if you look at in our forums, Slim Jim Gately's epitaph, he writes in there about sim racing and his opinion of, along with his replays and when he used to do the class,
Mm-hmm.
4 years ago. That's in that. I've read that thing over and over again because I wanted to get better, And if you're, no matter how much you've done in sim racing, or if you're playing a game, this game at this level, if you're not willing to learn from somebody that beats you, then you're just going to get beat.
Yeah, absolutely, Milty. I mean, there's always someone better than you in this game, and you may not find them for a while, but if you keep doing it, you will. And we see a nice move there by the 52 car, picking up a position on Ken Hansen. Ken giving him some room there, ducking in right behind him, keeping the draft going. And these four right here are as well, Milty. They're staying disciplined. They're really not doing a lot of.
Mickey a lap down, but he's letting go there. 62 and 29 are. This gaggle here, along with the 9 and the 52, they need to get in line and try to make up some time. Numbers here, their draft numbers should be better than the 3 up in the lead, and that's their goal. And Pinky's accommodating. We're here to race. You don't get a lucky dog, so you got to race for your lap back. But when you get in this position, you still race hard. But as you see, he's giving the inside line and letting them by, and dealing with the deal he was dealt.
Yeah, and caution. You can. This is old school. You get to start back at the front on the restart, and if you have a decent car, you can get you can get ahead of the leader, and caution comes out. That's the way you get your lap back here. And unfortunately, that's the only way you can get it back here, or you can race the leader and pass him. But usually, that's the harder way to do it, for sure. And let's go a little further back from this pack, Milty. And
Ed Finley up against the wall. He's rim riding, trying to control it, and he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay, and we do stay green. And I was just about to mention the.
Okay, there you go.
Next pack of cars here, Milty, and that's the 54 car of Bill Yarbrough and the 53 car as well. TG and the 86. They're trying to catch that second pack as well. So there's a bunch of pack racing going on here of groups of 3 and 4 cars.
That big pack in the back needed a caution. With the green flag stop, track position hurt them, and then when they had to pit like the 405 freeway. Been there, done that. The first race of the season we didn't broadcast, and I raced, and I got caught in that same situation where you have to just have to get out of it way early, and everybody's all coming in at the same time. Those guys like Slim Jim Gately had track position up front were able to take a chance or either way get a virtually clear path to pit entrance and the whole sequence that followed.
Yeah, and we also see Milty going through the leaderboard here. The 15 car is retired. Don't really know if Matt had something going on or if he had a problem. Never really saw what happened to him there. He was running with that backpack, and they all pitted, but I don't know if he had some troubles there. But right now, 18 cars are showing on the lead lap.
While you keep going green here.
And it's about a 2-second gap between second place Ed Kerstetter and third place Jeff Hale. So that gap has pretty much stayed pretty consistent now. And we're looking at Bill Martino there, who's I believe a lap down. And there's Pops, who is on the lead lap, and we're showing Pops in the 11th position. So far so good for Pops. I'm sure he's falling behind.
Watkins suddenly pits on lap 636, brings the car in, and disconnects. So something going on there.
Yeah, maybe a phone call took him away, Milty. It can happen. Let's go further back here. We see Pops in the 83 car. Trying to see big gap back to the 12th place car. So,
he was serving some kind of. He pitted and then came. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll watch this and you keep talking. He served like a penalty and then came out on lap 37 because he just stopped and go, and then he just completely disconnected. He could have had internet problems, possibly he was about to get booted and he realized it. Something was up there on the access road. He just disappeared.
We see the 6 and 88 running together, 14th and 15th positions.
No, he didn't disconnect. He got booted.
And then the final.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then checking these final cars that are fighting to stay on this lead lap here. The 43 car, Rick Sconer, and 191 Mike Sanders, and the 108 Doc Palmer. They're fighting to stay on the lead lap here, and they have a little space here. And then we see at the front, Milty, that we have a change as I believe Slim Jim is on pit lane again. And there we see him getting his service, lap 61, Milty.
Pitting Dog, Joe Cut, the 83. Well, he pitted on lap 30, so 61 is 31 laps. Obviously, he's not going to think about making it. Well, and nobody made 34, so that's the magic number.
I guess Slim Jim's thinking no one can make it, Milty. We'll see if he is correct.
Well, once you get spread out like this, then you can clutch. But the thing is, if you don't make 30, there are several guys that made 33 the first lap. Now they got to make 34 the rest of the way, which would be 67, and then they would have to make 34 one more time
No, then they'd only have to
which
make.
would be 107. No, that'd be 97. So none of them can make it.
Yeah, and I guess that's what Slim Jim's banking on, Milty, is that he's just trying to outrun the field now.
That window is up. There's more pitting. 86. Mark Dillon Jr. 108 Dog is exiting pits. 23 Pinky. Rick Johnson still in the mix here, but
Yeah, they are.
that
And
pack
rides
needs
it
a
coming
caution.
out as well. And there's Jeff Hale coming around strong.
This pro racing, man, I'm telling you, this
Cars all over the
this
place
ain't
here.
easy. To be GF at this point, come on, man. It's awesome.
And we're trying to pick up where the 28 car, who is really stretching this run, I believe, Milty. Trying to find him here. And there he's finally in at lap 65. So Ed in at lap 65. That leaves
At least 3 laps to the it's
yeah,
still
with 42
not
to
gonna
go.
make it.
So no one's really going to make it here. So let's see how this worked out with Ed doing about 5 more laps than Slim Jim.
Well, what he wants to do is come back with better tires, get him late in the run, and then hope a caution comes out where he gets track position, and then
We'll follow Ed out here and see where he lines up with Slim. So we see the 59 getting service too, but going a lap down now. Ryan Johnson. That's unfortunate because he's been driving with the leaders almost all race. But Ed coming out on the access road there, coming out onto the backstretch, and there we see Slim Jim, and these two have really grown attached to each other, Milty.
absolutely no surprise to me. Welcome the league to the 25.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a known because he's going to be.
And I think
you're going to be in his mirror.
even bigger news though than that is the 62, 29, 52 cars have picked up about a second on that exchange, Milty. So these third, fourth, fifth place cars now are right behind Ed in second place. So a big win for Sean and Jeff and Rick and Isaac.
E.G. Reese back on pit road. That can't be good. That's a drive-through penalty for the 53.
And that's most likely a speeding penalty. And as discussed in the drivers' meeting, Milty, before the race, pit lane here very sensitive to speed. 1 mile over, they're going to flag you. But a great battle here. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Pops did a double whammy too, so
Yeah,
not good for the 99.
No, not good either. Pops had a good ride going. But it looks like now top 6
Pops
here
is
might
back
be
in again. He's doing another drive-through, or is he going in the stall? 99 going in the stall. Let's see what happens here with the Scotch Blue Tape Ford. The stop and go for the 99. Did he clear that black flag? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see as he comes onto the access road and back onto the back stretch of this track where you rejoin. And we
This
see
changes
here.
things because you're going to have guys desperate. The caution could come out, even though it's green flag here.
Yeah, we're on lap 70, Milty, all green. 37 laps to go. Slim pitted at lap 61, Milty. So again, we should see him in about 20 laps probably. Or we know what you can do 30, Milty. Are we going to see guys in at about lap 77 and try to hit that early window?
I think now you got to rechange your strategy, but at the same time, you don't want to be pitting, and then the caution comes out.
All right, Milty.
So what do you
Who's
do?
gonna?
You know, I mean, 62 here. Sean Reap making the pass on the lap car of Dog here. This is a fantastic run for him.
Great run.
And he is right where he needs to be. If
Absolutely.
I'm on the 52s rear deck, and
that's a good place to
and
be. You follow the
and I
52
got one
car
more
to the
stop,
front.
and I'm in the top 5.
Man, Rick's run a great race here, Milty. He started well back in the field. You saw him make a quick move up by about 4 or 5 positions right before those first green flag stops, and since then his car is just taken off, and now he's going to be competing for the lead here very soon.
2 or 3 seconds of gap between first, second, and third, and the rest of the pack.
And now Ed's going to try to lead for the first time in this race. And the 28 car looks like he got the position here as they go side by side. And that's going to bring in the 29 car and the 52 into play.
And look, Hale's going to, well, Hale has to get low here. And Slim knows that. Otherwise, he would get passed by
that's
the 52. So you got to defend here.
Yeah, and Ed very defensive there on that line there, Milty.
But the other guys,
they're
looking at Slim Jim going, maybe he's got something up there.
Well, if he had help, he might have something by himself. It's not going to work.
No, they're going to, this is cutthroat, man. This is war right here.
And Jeff, I'm sure, is torn right now. He really wants to get up to Ed and work on Ed, but his partner, his old partner right there, Slim Jim, is needing some help on the outside.
Typically, at this point of the race, what were we looking at when the leaders pitted to go?
Well, Slim 42? Pitted at lap 61,
so we're looking at 42?
Yeah, we were looking at 45 to 42, somewhere in those.
Okay, so you want to... Now, if you think this is going to go green, you're going to go 22 maybe.
Or?
Because you're going to maximize. If it's going to go green, I want the best tires. And if I go... these main leaders here in the top 6 are going to go with me.
Well, or Milty, you say Slim's strategy worked excellent. He pitted first. He came out first. I'm going to be the first to pit. I'm going to pit as soon as the window opens.
Slim was about 3rd or 4th there, so, and he had spacing, so he didn't have to.
Now he's in a dogfight with 52 car. And when's the last time you think Slim's been in such a vicious battle amongst such good drivers, Milty? This is some work for Slim Jim right now.
Well, I mean, he won this week. He was in a battle. He's been in a battle since he went back, but he's got a huge notebook sitting in that brain. So, and Rick Johnson taking a look there. He's kind of
Rick's car
out
looking
to drive
really
right
good
now.
there.
You can't expect these guys to go with it. And Rick Johnson is a finisher, man.
He is, Milty. This car has just gotten better and better and better as this race has progressed. And I think he's going to be a real force to reckon with after this final. I think we're going green the whole way, Milty. I don't see a caution. So if I'm driving this race, I'm thinking of a pit stop, like within the next 1 or 2 laps.
Got to split that baby in half and maximize your average lap time.
And that's the other strategy. Let's see who does what, as we are most likely in the window now for sure. Let's see if any of these leaders are takers.
27 to go. 27 and a half.
Now, if you're Ed, are you just covering the field right now, Milty? Are you just driving until people start pitting? Or are you running your own strategy? You don't care what anyone else does?
Well, I think he's showing some muscle right here, but he just wants to make sure and not put himself in a disadvantage. Well, guys are going to do the alternate thing. As long as he's in the lead, he's in the catbird seat. He's waiting to see if... The thing is, okay, let's say Hale and the 25 pit, obviously they're 2 and 3. They're going to do something together. So he wants to go when they go.
And Slim did a wonderful job of fighting off the 52 car, Milty. What a battle that was. Rick really looked like he was going to get by him. just
Still
couldn't
not
get
winning
to
time
that.
for Rick. He's not going to
Yeah,
push that issue. He's like P4, okay, no
yeah.
problem.
I think I think he made a run at it. He realized it's not worth the side-by-side battle. He ducked back in. He's running very good in P4. Isaac is P5, right behind him, and then Sean is, and that's it really, Milty. So these top 6 are going to settle this race most likely. So if you're Rick or Isaac in that part of this pack, you got to be patient here for this last stop, I think.
Absolutely. You know, Kerstedter's probably listening to the broadcast on his phone while we're watching, so he's hoping we have some insight as to what these guys are going to do. And we pretty much mapped out the options, but we really don't have.
Well, and we're at
We're
25 to go right now, Milty.
looking at the
25 to
scanner.
go.
There's nothing.
And you know these guys are not going to tip their hand, Milty. Of course, we do have rules on what we call auto chats when you're pitting, Milty, and they expect you to put one up. They don't expect you to try to snooker the field by just diving in unexpectedly. That's
Well,
considered
especially
poor
when you got cars
sportsmanship.
right behind you.
Right, especially when you're in
One
a
thing, if you
situation
got
like
track
this.
position where you don't have somebody behind you, then it can be a little sneaky, but it's not required, it's recommended.
So we may
But
see
if
some.
you piled the field up because you didn't auto chat.
And here we got our first one. Jeff Hale's in.
Hale's down low, and
he's
is
all
not
by
going
himself.
of course, they're not. They're going okay. They're going alternate strategy here, which.
Okay. Or maybe Jeff is going rogue here, Milty, and he's seeing, you know what, I gotta try something different.
Well, that's what Slim did, and it worked out well for him.
Let's
If
follow
these
Jeff
guys
here
pit-
and see how this works out for him. Let's make sure he gets a clean stop.
Okay.
Once we know he has a clean stop, we'll check on the rest of the field and see how they react.
No chats, and we're not. 29 did chat. He was pitting.
And there we see the
Which
field
is what
going
I
by
would
him, and they're staying out, Milty. Everyone's staying out. Ed, there's Slim Jim now up to second. Rick up to third. Isaac fourth. Sean fifth.
Okay,
They're
last
all
lap,
out still.
31.3, best lap 30. So, you know, your average lap time is a second. You're losing a second a lap.
And they're staying out again, Milty. So, different strategy for sure amongst this rest of this top 5. I think they're all waiting for Ed to come down, and they're just going to follow.
Mm-hmm. Nothing on the scanner. Nothing on the scanner.
Jeff made a bold decision. Of course, he's obviously gambling on this entire race now going green, as he's a lap down for a while.
18 is pitting. He's a lap down.
And we continue to follow this top 5 here, and they are staying out and staying strong and staying all bunched up together. As we can see here on the chart, they're only 0.6 of a second separating 1 through 5, Milty. So no margin for error for any of these drivers.
They either got to hope for a caution. Slim is pitting. 25. Okay, so Kerstetter stays out.
Okay,
Johnson
so
stays out. Isaac, they get a caution. They're in the catbird seat.
And,
they don't.
And as we just
They
did,
lose time.
we'll follow
What you
Slim
gonna
Jim down pit lane. Make sure he gets into his stall nice and safe. A little lockup at the line. No big deal there. What about a 2-tire strategy here, Milty? The tire wear here is sometimes not that significant after just 20 laps.
Yeah, well, talking about 6 seconds maybe you can save on the pit stop. So that's a crapshoot. That's
Okay.
17 laps. That's a half run.
Slim Jim
That must
comfortably
be
in.
what these guys are doing. The guys that are staying out are going to go for two tires and less fuel. That's your strategy now. Got to think about it.
And I think we have a caution, Milty. We have a wreck. The 9 of Ken Hansen is down on the infield, and he's having some issues. He might have a tire down. And
they
wow.
stayed out. They didn't pit.
And the top 4 stayed out.
No caution.
Oh man.
You're kind of committed now.
And they
And
race
the
back
caution
to.
is out.
Yeah, the caution is
The
out,
caution
Milty.
is out.
And we have
I gotta step away for
27.
just 1 sec.
We have 27 laps remaining. There are plenty of cars still on the lead lap here, though. So this may not have been as bad as it could have been. We're going to check when everyone comes back around. Now, they have to slow down before that access road. There we see the FSB Corvette catching the field. And it has. And I'm sure we're going to see the lead cars, of course, immediately come into the pit lane. And our lap cars following them around. There's Bill Yarbrough. Big break for Bill Yarbrough. 18 seconds down. This can change a lot of, throw a lot of drivers back into the mix, including Bill Weber, Joe Cutt, and Mark DeSenza, who we have not talked about. And we know Mark is really going to be chomping at the bit now with this new lease on life for him. And we'll see how all these cars shake out. I think Slim Jim is a lap down. As we see, he is the first car a lap down. So he's going to start on the inside line. This could be a very interesting restart. We have 16 laps remaining. So probably two to three more laps. So we'll have at least 11 laps, I would say, to go. So no 10 lap rule right now. So Slim will get one good front field restart as we see the leaders coming out of pit lane. Let's follow them out here. And Ed gets onto the grass.
Oh!
What's going on with Ed? He's in the grass.
He's in the grass.
And he's stopped. And he couldn't get going for it. Now he's going again.
He's got some kind of computer issues.
Oh my. And the leader of the race, Ed, came out and looked like in the lead. Got onto the grass and came to a stop.
Will he get a penalty for that?
Oh, he might get a dangerous exit. We hope not. Because under caution, Milty, that would be
oh my gosh.
the end of the race for him. But a huge loss of position, or did it lock his position in? It looks like he's passing cars there, Milty.
Well, he might have crossed the line, and it might have still given him the spot.
It
That's
must
what
have.
It looks like it has.
Wow,
Boy,
what a break.
He dodged a stinking
Oh,
bullet there.
boy, did he.
Let's get this lined up here. Make sure. I think he still crossed the line in P1.
Yeah, this is very confusing now. And
you know what? He may have lost calibration or internet.
Oh my
he may have to pull over and get it together there, and that's damage control big time.
Wow. I don't. Who knows what happened, but it looks like it did lock his position in. So it does still show him as the leader, Milty. Rick Johnson second, Sean in third, Isaac fourth, and now Bill Yarbrough in fifth. New lease on life for the 54, 88,
no
6,
surprise.
83 cars, Milty. These guys, you know, when you get that one break, sometimes that just like rejuvenates you too.
The 54 is a trudger. You know, he just trudges. He just doesn't. He's always close. If he's not in the top 3 or 5, but he's still close, and he's the kind of racer we were talking about the other night. He texted me. We were talking about how we approach these races. He's not here to win a championship. He's here to win races. So, and I'm kind of the same way in my career. You know, if you got a good car and you got a chance to win, race the whole race. If you get damaged, get caught up in something or whatever, you know, you're going to park it, you know. You can keep racing per the rules and get a good finish, but he's all about the competition for the win, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. That's pretty much how I roll, too, in this stage of my career.
All right, so we have the lights out on the pace car, Milty, and that leaves us at 14 laps to go right now. So we'll go green with 13 to go. Slim Jim has elected to stay out, and so now the 25 and 29 are actually on the
boy.
tail end of the lead lap, so they will start ahead of our leaders, and there'll be one lap down
Boy,
or
they
more
need a
cars to
caution.
the inside, Milty. So this is as confusing a restart as you can get. We have tail end of the lead
13 to
lap
go.
cars, we have the leader, and we have one lap and more cars on the inside, all starting at the front here. So Ed's going to have to be very dicey here with the restart. He's got good cars ahead of him, and he's also got guys that want to get back on the lead lap on the inside of him.
Well, Kerstetter either had internet issues, but he knew where to go and get out of the way, and so maybe he didn't calibrate in his
I
pits.
don't know, maybe he dropped his beer,
decided-
Milty, like you've done a few times.
No, he's not. He's all about.
Or maybe he dropped his
business
soda.
here. He's not fun. Quite, you know. He's not a drinker like me. I don't think.
Yeah, few are, Milty, few are.
Yeah.
But here
Well,
we
I'm a
go,
professional,
Slim Jim
yeah.
and Jeff Hale, tail end of the lead lap cars. On the outside, the 43 is one lap down. On the inside, Milty, Ed is in the third position in the running order, but the leader of the race. And the 52 car, Rick Johnson, right behind him, is the second place car.
Henri quietly in third. I keep mentioning this guy just because of you know, his.
Oh, and he's
He's
up
on a
high there,
roll.
Milty, and this
He's
is
on a
where you
roll.
got to be really focused. After such a great run, Milty, sometimes these races do go a little longer than FSB, which is where Sean usually runs.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this is where the concentration could wane a little for you, Milty.
absolutely.
And you can see he's up high and he's really being pressured hard by Isaac. And you know Isaac is not going
Young
to
man
give
wants to go.
anyone any
Young
quarters
man
either.
rumble.
Yeah, he's a go-getter, and if he sees a daylight, he's going to take it. And there's Bill Yarborough.
Well, and the 62's trying to defend now, so this could get interesting. But they did it smart. Back in line, realize they still got 10 to go.
Yeah, and there's
At the
still a
line.
draft to be had here. And just remember, Sean has to remember, he's a P3 right now. He's on the podium. You know, if let's keep it together here for 10 more
Teammates,
laps.
1-2, FSB Racing.
And
What
we
are they
see
gonna
Ed
do?
making a move to the inside of Jeff Hale. And Ed wants to get by, and I think Jeff's going to have to let him here.
Yeah,
He got the
it's,
position on him, and
unfortunately, but that's class racing as usual. You would expect from bro like Jeff. They shot their bullets, and
yeah, that's
it didn't work out for them.
and Slim fighting now to stay on the lead
Slim's
lap.
Slim's got two car lengths, so it's different, you know. Once they get up on you, though, which they will, he's going to have to make that decision.
Yeah, and Ed's up right up
And
on
Ed-
this back bumper
Can't
here.
expect the leaders. They're racing for the win. They got to go, and as a pro, you see
Yeah.
Slim Jim, let him by. But he went inside.
He's
So
making the
that's
leaders
gonna
pass
make
him
it
on the
interesting.
outside,
And
which
Rick
is
Johnson's
different.
Going, I don't think so.
And yeah, Rick for a second there was flirting with going with Slim, I thought. And now Sean
Well, why
and
not,
Isaac
you
has
know?
got a good run going.
If not, somebody else is going to go with him now because they know he's got a fast car. He just tail end of the lap down. So but Slim moves out and does not.
Yeah,
make
that's
it
some
an
good
issue.
stuff by Slim there.
And that's what a pro does.
Yeah, and now the 54 car, Bill Yarborough, is right on the back
By
bumper
the way, he
of
will be back
Isaac.
in the pros real quick. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I think so.
Just another class move. By,
Yeah, check that out. We got a little 3-wide action there with Joe Cutt on the inside with Mark
Now
DeSenza.
let's settle this.
Yeah, and it settled down pretty quickly. But let's go back to the
Gosh,
front
I'm
here,
just
Milty.
so impressed with all the driving I've seen tonight, and I'm always impressed, but this race in particular, from top to bottom, just been really class, professional racing, understanding one caution thus far, but no matter what happens, just an absolute performance performance by the members of FSB
All right,
Racing
Milt.
League.
6 to go, Milty. Let's ride with Sean here in P3 and tell us what we're seeing here
Let's
in the
get some
cockpit.
in-car. T-Roy likes that.
There we see Rick taking a peek on the inside of Ed. And right in that mirror, we see the 34 car Isaac Johnson filling up that mirror of his.
Having some technical difficulties with the, so let me go. Okay, now I'm just going to go with, which car are you watching?
We're in the 62 car right now in P3, looking at Rick and Ed ahead of us, and there's Isaac right there, and it looked like a little contact maybe, a little bump and run move by the kid. And a little loose coming off the corner there for the 62 car as we ride with him, and now the 54 as well sticking his nose in. And you know Bill Yarbrough, he smells blood, Milty. He's a great white shark, Milty. If he smells the blood, he's going to take that move, and he tried, but he kept his foot down, and Sean battling away here.
Reeves defending.
Wow, that's impressive there, man.
Coming up on 2 to go.
That's impressive defense there to get.
In line.
Not easy to hold off that 54 car, Milty.
Well, you just got to keep your foot in it a little longer, hope it sticks. And Bill's pretty smart too. I mean, you realize.
And there's a run. He's got a run on the 34 car again, on the outside. Where will Yarbrough go? Inside or out?
Great battle. Come on, Sean.
Really matters where Bill's gonna go. Oh!
He goes back inside.
Oh!
Coming out turn 2.
Oh, Milty, that's a.
But he lost momentum there.
And the kid is taking P3 from him.
Coming out.
Yeah, and now Joe Cutt and Mark DeSenza are coming on strong, Milty, as we have 3 to go, coming on 2 to go now. And going up here with Rick Johnson. What's Rick thinking here, Milty? Does he have anything for the 28?
Well, what he's thinking is, I want the 34 and the 54 to get up to me and help me, because I'm going to make a move right here.
Well, he's got to do it right now. They're coming to the white flag lap here, and we're riding with the 52 car. We're going to see that white flag waving. Now checkered and hard into the wall. And the 28 edged him at the line, Milty, as Rick takes a pounding now. Woo!
So draft dependent. There's just not much you can do there, especially when 3rd and 4th and 5th are battling to try to get in position. The leaders have a great advantage.
Woo!
Rick did what he could and made
sure
his
did.
move on the last lap.
What a great effort there by the 52 car, just a 1/10 of a second short. And the 28 car will take another win, Milty. Rick second, Isaac with a great run in 3rd. Bill Yarbrough does end up taking 4th there, Milty, with a great battle with the 62 car, Sean Reap, who has nothing to be ashamed about with a top 5 finish. And some thrilling in-car footage there at the end by him. And then how about Joe Cutt, Milty?
Joe Cutt from the couch to P6. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive. And he took Mark DeSenza along for the ride in 7th. And the 86, Mark Dillon, had some issues earlier in that little bump on pit lane, but he came back, finished lead lap, Milty. Top 10, 8th place, and the 07.
Soska,
Ken Soska,
top 10 for him.
I mean, that might be
working his way.
Might be the drive of the race right there for Ken Soska. He was a lap down, Milty, and with that last caution, caught it just right, stayed out, and really
That's
benefited.
How you piece it together in a pro sim racing league. You gotta, walk up the ladder step by step.
And there's the entire running order, Milty. There we see Sammy It says no fuel Sammy, we'll call him. Ran out of gas and no tow. No, once you're in your pit box, no tow truck is allowed,
Well,
and
you're 3 inches
and
off.
then
Story
you
of my
got to get a
life.
yeah, you got to get a car to bump you, and no bumpers. So
Well, it's 3 inches taller. I'd be in the
yeah, I hear you.
NBA. Yeah.
And we see that just 9 cars on the lead lap, Milty. So a demanding one yellow, only one caution here, Milty, and that came very toward the end. And unfortunately, it came at the wrong time for particularly the 29 and the 25 car.
Okay, well, we better grab some drivers here, huh?
Yeah, we can see if we can grab Ed, Rick, and young Isaac. Might be the first time on the
Yes, nice.
broadcast here.
A nice top three for him. Solid pro run. He's learned so much, and battling gets these great drivers. Get these kind of finishes. I mean,
And
anything in the top 10,
yeah,
it's
and
like
maybe his old man
satisfying.
might have a little something to do with why he's so good too.
Absolutely. Plus, we're all responsible for our own actions and what we do on the track and how we learn. And for a young fella, teenager, to be accepted in the league and also follow the league guidelines, but the maturity that it takes to do that. When I was that age, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, not to
So,
mention Milty going
not
right
for
up into
me.
the
Yeah.
pro ranks and already with a Pro Cup win under his belt.
And to also put the results out on the track, and also just to keep your membership like good sportsmanship when things go good and bad. He's followed the rules, done it like an adult, and he's a young man, so it's very impressive. Very hats off to Ryan for doing a great job as a papa.
Absolutely. So why don't you go grab our podium
Okay.
finishers if you can, Milty, and we'll go over this running order a little. So as we recapped our top 9 lead lap finishers, P10 Jeff Hale, as we talked about, kind of some bad luck there and choosing to pit just about a couple laps early, and then the caution came out and froze him a lap down. But a great battle back by Ryan Johnson, who had maybe the car, possibly a race-winning car here today, and just bad luck, got spun on pit road during green flag stops, and the time lost to gather that car back and proper cost him that lap, and he could just never get it back. But what a great run in 11th, running with the leaders all night long. Dog as well started way in the back there. I think benefited from that final caution and really made the most of it. And unfortunately, we lost the running order there to the server, so we apologize for that. And we're hoping to be joined uh, momentarily here by our top 3 finishers. And I think we are now, and we're all here, and appreciate you guys spending a little more time here. I know it's getting late there on the East Coast, but our race winner, Ed Kerstetter, 28 car. Great race, Ed.
What
Man,
the heck happened to you in the infield
yeah, I
there?
guess that's really the only thing we want to know, Ed, is what was the little grass stop for?
I had to reboot the ECU. No, you can thank Microsoft for Windows 10 for that. It's been every time I come out of pits under yellow, it like locks up and then the screen freezes for like 15 seconds. So I've gotten used to turning left hard and pulling into the grass.
Wow, so we thought, yeah, we were thinking some kind of connectivity issue, and looks like that was the case, but it locked the position in, so I'm sure you knew that also, so you weren't too concerned about maybe losing any positions there.
I was hoping it would. Sometimes it doesn't, and
Yeah,
with
we didn't know for sure at first
Yeah.
either.
So yeah, that was a pretty interesting race there. What was the thought going into that last stop? You guys stayed out and benefited, and of course, unfortunately for Jeff and Slim, they pitted early and got punished there. What was the thinking for you there, Ed?
yeah, Slim was pitting a little bit earlier than everybody else, so I figured he'd do the same on the last one. And I can get to about 10 or 11 to go, and the left side tires weren't wearing too hard, so I was gonna kind of wait until everybody else behind me pit, and then just took 2 tires and hope like you weren't losing too much time in the draft. You were probably running 31 O's after a couple laps, and then we were running 31 2s and 3s, I think, just before that yellow. So I was hoping at least that getting 2 tires would be better than running with 4 a little bit longer.
Yeah, it looked like that was the right thing, as of course that caution came out. Not good for those two, good for the rest of you. And especially good for 52 and the 34 Milty, who are also joining us here on the podium. Rick and Isaac, both great runs. Rick, man, you started back there, you moved up steadily, and then maybe just ran out of laps on you.
I don't know about that. I don't think I ever would have passed them, but yeah, I don't think I passed the car the whole race. Just had good pit stops and Billy moved up.
Well, you would have needed some help, and it was just a little too strong out behind you guys. But they were racing for position, and Isaac got the big benefit of that. As cars were racing for position, they're very mature, solid pro drive there by you, Isaac. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Isaac, that was a great battle with you and the 62 and Bill Yarbrough there for a while. What was the thinking there in those last laps? Were you trying to just try to stay with Rick, or were you consumed with that battle there?
Well, I figured I wasn't gonna be able to catch Rick and Ed, so I was more concerned about trying to keep the 62 and the 54 behind me once I got past the 62, because I knew it was really hard to pass, and if they did get under me, or I mean, the 62 did get high on me there a little bit, I'd be able to hold them off pretty well because it's so hard to pass.
Yeah, that was some good racing there, and got some good in-car work there right at the end with you and Bill and Sean. That was some good driving there, and again, a real steady drive. What was all three of you, the green flag, obviously 3 green flag stops in a row. What was the thinking about halfway through the race? Were you thinking there wasn't going to be any more cautions?
That's what I was thinking, because I was taking 2 tires on that last stop myself. I was going to go all the way till, like Ed said, about 10 to go and take 2 tires.
Yeah, I had the same mindset as Ed and Rick there.
I think it took us a little longer to figure it out than you guys. You already knew what you're going to do, but then it hit us like a ton of bricks, you know. So then we're like, wait a minute, okay.
Yeah, I said, wait a second, what about taking 2
'Cause there's
tires?
so
And they're
much
like,
going
well,
on.
I didn't think about that. It's like, yeah, these guys are staying out, so that's what we were thinking too. Yeah, that was a unfortunate timing there for Jeff and Slim. How was it like driving when they were up there with the lead? That first run there, Ed, you were content to just do that, or I saw you challenge it there toward the end of that run? Were you trying to take that position, or was it just what you were given?
I was trying to get by them pretty hard, actually. They were both really quick. It was definitely unfortunate that they got trapped a lap down with that yellow. But yeah, it was the draft. It hurt you in the corners so much, and you couldn't make it up on the straightaways. So it was really hard to pass, and I was just I was trying. I just couldn't get around them.
Yeah, you'd show yourself down the straightaway, but I mean, pretty much everybody was like, I got thinking the same thing. I got to stay in this draft. Every inch of it counts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You get under somebody, but then everybody's drafted in the high lane, and so they would pull you on the straightaway, and then, you couldn't really get a nose in on somebody. You'd have to kind of dive bomb them, go into the corners to make a pass.
We would see Slim on the outside, and but yet he was pretty competitive. We kept starting to think maybe somebody would come up with him, but it never really happened. It was because he would run 2-3 laps up there and keep position on the outside, aka Danny Falcon back in the day. But he couldn't pull it off without any help.
Yeah, and also looking toward the future here, with Matt Watkins having some issues, which we're not quite sure what happened. Uh, he was second place in the points, Milty. So this is going to really give Ed a little cushion here early on, and it's going to give a lot of guys a little desperation to claw back their way to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Mystifying we'll have to see in the forum. It almost looked like he pitted. He got a black flag and pitted a couple times, and then decided to park it. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah, I think he got a black flag and he couldn't get it cleared, is what it looked like in the auto chat.
Yeah,
And there was a couple drivers that dealt with that. We'll have to look forward into.
yeah, and that's an unfortunate situation from.
Pops was in the same boat.
Yeah. So if that was the case, there's going to be a lot of shakeup in the points with Mark DeSenza in third, so he'll probably assume the second position. Weber had a decent finish. Ken had a good finish. So some guys will be moving up, some guys will be moving down in the standings here. So that's another big impact from this race.
You never know what's going to happen. That's why you show up and do them, because if it was the same thing every time, you get bored with it. You might play Call of Duty or something, but this is sim racing.
I hear you.
It's pro sim racing at its best at FSBRacing.com.
Absolutely. And guys, we appreciate you taking the time. I know it's late there on the East Coast, so we'll let you take off. And again, Ed, congratulations on the win. And Rick and Isaac, great runs, and glad that you could all join us.
Yeah, and on the air, I'd like to congratulate my teammate, Rick Johnson, for his 5th Pro Cup. So now we can actually, I was calling him 5-time before he was actually 5-time. Now I can actually, now it's actually the truth. Great job.
Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, you forced him to live up to his name, so now he's good.
Well, he did.
But again, thanks guys, and appreciate it. And Milty, as always,
It's a wrap, man.
appreciate it. And yeah, check us out on the web, fsbracing.com. Broadcasts at least 1-2 a week, always, Milty. And
Yeah,
Pony Express going
Pony
strong on
Express.
Wednesdays, and appreciate the crew picking us up last Friday.
Yep, they do a great job.
Yeah, and absolutely, they do a fabulous job. Great enhancements and stuff to the broadcast. Really like this stuff. So check us out, and again, guys, congratulations, and we'll catch you on the next race.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for broadcasting.
Thank you.